Okay, here we go. Hi, I'm Leanne. I am someone who is living with bipolar disorder, and I decided that I would like to start a YouTube channel to go along with the many other YouTube channels that cover mental illness. Now, I will say that I can't promise a video every day, or that I can even promise one once a week, but I can tell you that I'm going to try and stick with it. Let's see. I'm 41. I am polyamorous. So in being polyamorous, I have 2 husbands. I'm very, very lucky because I love them both very much. I'm kinky. I let my leather flag fly, so, leather friendly. And a few years ago, I was diagnosed with having bipolar disorder. Now, I'm also on the autism spectrum, and my psychiatrist believes that I may have ADHD, but we are trying to find the correct long-standing medication cocktail before we go down the let's treat the ADHD route, so to speak. I've got 2 dogs who are amazing. I have 2 cats, and I had a 3rd dog until September 9th. My buddy Token, who was my emotional support dog. He was a basset hound, and he was amazing. And I don't know how to put pictures into video yet, but one day I'll figure it out. So, as you could probably tell, I'm shooting this with my phone, which will probably be where most of my videos come from. I love life. I love getting up in the morning and taking my dogs for a walk and hearing the silence right before the world starts waking up, or at least my part of the world starts waking up. I just recently came through a really hard time with my bipolar disorder. I went to what I call the really, really bad place, where I had a suicide scare. Husband number 2 had not been through this with me before because we've only been together for about 1.5 years. Husband 1 and I have been together for 14 years and married for 12. So husband 1 has been through this with me before. So I had to sit down with husband 2 after everything and explain that I understand that he was very worried in the entire situation, but I asked for help. I called my psychiatrist immediately when I started having the very bad thoughts. I got in to see her right away. I let the husbands know that this was happening and that we're on a, bad train of thought here and we need to do some adjusting. The time to worry in my situation is when my husband's or my support system, someone in my support system, family of choice or whatever, has to tell me to call somebody, call my psychiatrist, call my therapist, get help. That's when I am not cognizant that I'm in an extremely bad place. That's also when I'm most dangerous to myself. Luckily, I haven't had that happen in many, many years. So, there's that. If you have a mental illness, there's a lot of activism going on today about do not be ashamed about your mental illness, do not do this, or do not do that, or do not do the other. And no, you shouldn't be ashamed. You should not be ashamed because you have a condition you can't control. But that doesn't mean that you aren't. I do not hide the fact that I'm bipolar. I don't hide the fact that I'm on the autism spectrum. And I don't hide the fact that I'm poly and kinky and a little bit crazy, and I love animals and a whirlwind of things, and I go all over the place, and sometimes my thoughts wander, and you may hear me yell at my animals to stop doing whatever it is they're doing, or I will have a completely left field sentence come out of my mouth when I'm talking about something else. You know, I could be talking about bipolar disorder and then all of a sudden say, hey, did you ever try Sierra Mist? There's a Sierra Mist bottle sitting right in front of me, so that's the first thing I thought of to say. But there's no reason to be ashamed. Like I said, that doesn't mean that you aren't. I am. I am because I've experienced the stigma of telling someone, yes, I have bipolar disorder, and they looked at me like I could lose my mind at any point without warning, without cause. Like I was a firecracker ready to go off. Maybe it's a explosive device. I don't know, whatever. But that I could just go off at any moment into the world of crazy. That's not really the way it works unless you're unmedicated. And I say that from my own experience. That may not be everybody else's experience. So I do want to preface that anything I say on this channel, I am drawing from my own experience. Please do not take what I'm saying as everybody experiences this, because that's not. I am expressly going off what's happened in my life. So it's been my experience when I was unmedicated that I have gone into the world of crazy at a moment's notice. But I also didn't know that I was bipolar then. Once I started seeing a psychiatrist at my therapist's behest and started medication, and we found the right medication cocktail that, excuse me, my cat yawned, sorry. And we found the right medication cocktail that worked for me. And we tweaked it to make sure we were at optimal medication cocktail, whatever. I've been stable. And that's the only thing I can ask for is stability. Antidepressants, antipsychotics, they don't make you not have a mental illness. That is a very common misconception. Oh, if I take an antidepressant, I won't be depressed anymore. No. That's not how that works. And honestly, I feel that antidepressant is a misnomer. I feel it should be named something else, but I haven't come up with anything clever. So I think I'm going to think about that. However, what one, especially in my case, does strive for is stability. Before I was medicated, I was up and down and all around and all over the place. And guys, have you ever been on a roller coaster all the time in your brain? It's exhausting. It is exhausting. And then I went through a phase where I was second guessing everything I did. Once I got diagnosed, I was second guessing everything I did. I didn't know that I could have ever been more exhausted than I already was. Okay, sorry. I thought my baby girl Husky was going to the back door, but she's not. She's a little mad at me because I cleaned up the living room and disturbed her mess. Anyway, I did not realize how exhausting it could be to second guess everything. Second guess every sentence, every word I said, any action I did. I have an illness that for me makes me second guess a lot of my own actions. Now, it's gotten better for me. I've employed coping mechanisms that excuse me, so sorry, that I have learned through the years. But they don't always work. They are coping mechanisms. They're not cure-alls. So anyway, as I was saying, my goal of stability is one of the things that I needed. And once I got stable, life was so different. It was so different. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not depressed. That doesn't mean that I don't have mania. My type of bipolar disorder is bipolar 2, which means I have more depression than mania. However, rapid cycling, which means you go from mania to depression to mania to depression to mania to depression all the time, is very difficult. And that's one of the things that recently made me realize I need to go see my therapist and my psychiatrist right the fuck now, because I'm rapid cycling. That's not good. Something is wrong. Something is very, very wrong. I feel like I'm being very discombobulated and jumping all over the place. But you know what? I don't have a script. So there you go. Anyway, once I was stable, yeah, I was still depressed. But I wasn't so horribly, lowly depressed that I couldn't get out of bed. I could function. What the hell is this functioning thing? Oh my God. What is this functioning thing? I actually can get up and work and do my job and it not be some insurmountable obstacle? That's craziness. That's crazy talk. What is this witchcraft? Oh, by the way, I'm totally pagan. So, but, you know, religion is religion. Who cares? See? Left field. But what is this? What is this magic? Now, because I am a woman, I suffer from PMS, premenstrual syndrome. On my premenstrual syndrome days, oh my God. That's where it hits me the most. I don't bloat. I don't get cramps. I don't get any of the physical attributes. But on my PMS days, holy shit, watch out, because I'm bitchy and I'm super depressed and I want to start taking people's heads off. Like, seriously? I kind of want to, poke my husband with a sharp stick because he's still in the room breathing on my PMS days only. And I don't really do that. But that's how badly PMS affects me emotionally. But I'm stable. I can guarantee you that every day I will wake up and I'll be like, okay, I'm awake. It's a new day. Time to get up and take care of the animals. Time to get up and take the dogs on walkies. Time to get up and get my day started. I did not used to be able to do that. I had to really work to get out of bed, to go to a job and sit in front of my computer and just stare at it for 8 hours. I did not do a damn thing. That doesn't mean that I wanted to be that way, but I was. And you're going to walk with me while I let my dog out. And you're going to see parts of my house. Please excuse, anything you might deem as inappropriate or a mess or whatever. So I dealt with it. And the stability thing happened, and I did the best I could before the stability thing happened. And the best I could was not very good, to tell you the truth. It was pretty awful. But I worked with my boss. My bosses know that I have bipolar depression. I'm very honest. I'm very honest with them. I hope the inside of my nose was clean because, got a great shot of that. I was very honest with my employers about my mental illness. I'm very honest with my boss now. When I went through my most recent medication adjustment, I let him know that I was going through a tough time. And that things would, I needed his feedback. If he saw less productivity from me, if he saw more productivity from me, if whatnot. And honestly, it is okay to ask for that kind of feedback, especially from your loved ones. When you start to take medication, you need to know, hey, you're not, as productive, or hey, you're doing really, really productive things, or, because sometimes the medication can make you less productive. For instance, I was on Prozac at one point. Prozac does not work well with me, or at least that dosage did not work well. Now, it was prescribed by my general practitioner because this was before I started seeing an actual psychiatrist. So it really, she did a generalized prescription that, like a one-size-fits-all type of prescription. And you can't really do that with antidepressants or antipsychotics because it doesn't always work. However, that was not her fault. She was doing her job. I'm not blaming her at all. I went into her and I said, I'm having a really hard time and I need something. Something is going on. My therapist thinks I need to be put on medication. Can we do something? And she says, sure. So she wrote me a prescription for Prozac. Went on Prozac. I turned into a freaking zombie. A zombie. And not the Walking Dead, fast-moving, I will bite you zombies. No. Nothing like that. I was literally putting my pants on one day. I had my pants right at my knees, and I forgot what I was doing. And I completely blanked. And I looked at my husband, and he said that I had this look of fear on my face. And he looked at me, and this was husband one, by the way. He looked at me, and he said, did you forget what you were doing? And I said, yes, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing here. And he said, okay. He said, you're putting on your pants, and you need to pull them up. I said, oh, okay. So I pulled up my pants, and then he said, okay, now we go eat breakfast. My husband had to tell me to go eat breakfast. My body didn't tell me to go eat breakfast. My husband had to tell me it's time to go eat breakfast. Because the Prozac had me whacked out. So when I got home, because I was visiting my parents at the time when that happened, when I got home, my husband immediately had me call my general practitioner and tell her what happened. And she took me off Prozac right away. And I didn't go back on another medication until I saw my psychiatrist. I was going somewhere with this. Hang on. Different medications, so forth and so on. Oh, well. It's been a long road for stability. It's been a hard road. There have been a lot of tears. I've begged my husband to divorce me because he does not deserve to be with someone like me. He does not deserve to have to put up with someone who has this type of illness. The guilt I feel is horrendous. And logically, and I have two brains here. I have a logical brain and an emotional brain. My logical brain says guilt is a wasted emotion. It does nobody any good. All it does is make you feel bad. Consistently make you feel bad over something you cannot change, which triggers your depression. Now, that is not the same as remorse. Remorse is, oh no, I feel bad, I must fix it. And then you move on. Guilt is, wow, I did that and I feel bad, and I'm going to sit here and continue to feel bad because, well, I need to feel bad. That's the way it is in my world. If you disagree, totally cool. But before I was medicated, I went through a time period where I was suicidal. And this was back, I want to say in 2011 or 2012. So it's been several years. My ex-boyfriend at the time and my husband and my two other friends who were girls, but not my romantic girlfriends. Yeah. Were all there for me. They rallied. I was at my therapist. We were talking and she said, Leanne, are you going to harm yourself? And I looked at her and I said, I think so. And she said, okay. I said, I want to die. I said, that's not true. I don't want to die, but I hurt so much. I hurt so much in my heart and in my head. I don't see any other way out. I just want peace. I don't want to feel this anymore. And she said, do you have a plan? And I said, yes. And she said, okay, what is your plan? And I said, do you want plan A, B, or C? Because I have plan A, and if that doesn't work, I have contingency plan B. And if that doesn't work, I have contingency plan C. And if that doesn't work, fuck it all, I'm not meant to die. And she laughed. But it was true. I had 3 different plans. And I told her what they were, and no, I will not say them here. But I told her what they were, and she said, okay. She said, let's call Scott. Husband 1. And we will go from there. And we told husband 1 what happened and how I was feeling. And I have to hand it to him. He stepped up. Now, she did give me the option to go to the hospital. But she said flat out, she does not believe that me being in the hospital is the appropriate treatment. She said that she feels that in the hospital, what they would do is drug me up for 72 hours and then send me on my way. She said that I had been her patient long enough for her to trust me when I tell her I promise not to hurt myself. And I'm a woman of my word. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So, yeah, there is that. So I got home, and husband one and I talked quite a bit. And I called my boyfriend and called my two other friends, T and A, although that doesn't stand for tits and ass. Although that's quite funny. Anyway, I called my other friends and essentially told them what was going on. So this is what we did. We had rules for Leanne. I got up in the morning. I was to text everyone and let them know that I was up. I was to text my husband when I got out of the shower. I was to text my husband when I started to go to work and when I arrived at work. When I got to work, I was able to talk to my boyfriend throughout the day and my husband throughout the day. When I got home, I had to text my husband that I got home. I had to text my boyfriend that I got home. I had to text my two friends that I got home. When my husband was home with me, I was not even allowed to have the bathroom door shut. He had eyes on me at all times. If I was to go into the kitchen and I needed to cut an apple, he would not let me do it. He did it for me. I was not allowed to have a knife. Although I have to say that slicing my wrist or anything like that, that's not the way that I would ever do that, because it's just too messy for me personally. He was amazing. And this happened for 7 days until I saw my therapist again. And I told her what happened. And I told her how lucky I was to have him. And I am. I am very lucky to have him. We got through it. I will forever be grateful to those people. Hey, you can see my little bouquet. I will forever be grateful to those people who were in my life at the time. I will never forget what they did for me. The fact that they were there is just beyond words. And it was hard. I did not want to die. My depression had crippled me and hurt me so much that I could not see a way out. Okay, sorry about that. I had a phone call come in and cut off the video. So I'm having to splice two videos together, and if it comes out really messy, I apologize in advance. But I couldn't see a way out with my depression at that point in time. I didn't want to die. I didn't want my life to end. As a matter of fact, I don't want to die because I don't know what happens after you die. Death itself isn't scary. It's not knowing what happens after. Some people say there's an afterlife. Some people say there's nothing there. Some people believe in reincarnation. So, yeah. The guilt that I carried from putting Scott through all of that, it hurt. I still feel guilty to this day. I feel horribly guilty to this day that he had to deal with it. I begged him to divorce me. I begged him to leave me. I begged him to find someone else that he wouldn't have to worry about waking up one day and finding dead by their own hand. He wasn't having it. He wasn't having it at all. He always said, I love you for you. Your mental illness does not define who you are. If that's not the most perfect thing in the world to tell somebody, I don't know what is. I've been asked more than once, why do I continue to stay with husband one? Given some of the problems that we've had, because every couple has issues. I mean, come on, it's normal. If you don't have issues in your relationship is not normal. And I flat out said, because I love him. He loves me unconditionally. Because he loves me for me. And he does not let my mental illness define who I am for him. And that's all that needs to be said. And hell, even that doesn't need to be said. What really needs to be said is it's none of your goddamn business. But I'm not really like that, unless, you piss me off. So, that's the beginning of my sordid tale. I really think I want to wrap up here. And like I said, I'm sure this video seems really discombobulated and so forth and so on, but we'll see. I hope you guys enjoy it. I plan on putting up another video eventually. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not Saturday, but I just felt the need to start this up. So. And hopefully by next time I'll be able to learn how to put pictures into the video when I'm talking about people, or talking about my animals. For the sake of anonymity, I will not put in pictures of husband one or two. Simply because of their jobs. I can probably, I can get away with mentioning their names, although you won't hear it often, but I cannot, put pictures of them in. But I will totally put in pictures of my animals all the time. I have Audrey, who is our oldest baby. Who is a Siberian Husky, who is very, very sassy. And we have Morgan, who is 4 years old. Oh, I'm wrong. Audrey's not the oldest. Audrey's the second oldest. Audrey's 11. Morgan is 4. And he is I cannot describe him. I really can't. He is just one of the sweetest dogs. I'm his mom, so of course I'm going to say that. But seriously, he's going to be your best friend whether you want him to or not. And then we have Lucy, also known as Fat Kitty, also known as Fatty the Hut, also known as Lucy the Hut, also known as Fatty McFatterton. She is 16 years old, so she's allowed to be fat. Don't worry, we are aware of the situation. We are working to get some of the weight off of her. And actually, she's lost a good bit. We've gotten her down about 2 pounds. So that's good. She needs to be around 11 pounds, and she's at 13 right now, maybe 14. But she was at like 16. And the reason that this happened is because she found the kitten's food. And an old cat eating the kitten's food is getting a whole lot of calories they don't need. And she ballooned. So we talked to the vet about it. It was really funny because Lucy found the kitten's food. And the kitten found Lucy's food. And so I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. They're both going on Lucy's food. And ever since then, she has dropped some of that weight. But it also doesn't help that she's 16 years old and all she wants to do is sleep and be petted and bitch about stuff. Which is fine. She's old. She can do that. And then we have Buddy the kitten, who is a 1.5 years old, who husband 2 rescued as a feral cat, believe it or not. He rescued him at 4 weeks old. The mother was feral. The kittens were pretty feral at the time. And, sorry, there was a bug. This cat has turned out to be the most affectionate cat I have ever seen in my life. He curls up right here with his little head under my neck and sleeps with me at night like that. I have had cats my whole life. I have never had a cat do that. He is just super affectionate and a sweetie. And he's just a sweetheart. Unless apparently you're the delivery man and then he growls and tries to run you off. That's a new thing? Okay. So, but I'm sure that once I learn how to put pictures in the videos that I'll be bombarding you guys with that. Well, I'm going to sign off for now and eat my supper. I hope everybody is having a good day. If you're not having a good day, it will get better. It is temporary. And thanks for watching my bipolar roller coaster, or my bipolar coaster rather.